Alright, Dale. Say hi to Alina. Anyways, this is the box heart. I'm going to send you a picture as well, but I figured I would kind of go over it so you know what the fuck everything's happening, so you just don't see abbreviations and shit and not understand. So, box heart, if you can kind of picture, if you look at the other pictures of the heart, it's like, you know, really confusing, but this kind of makes it into like a two-dimensional shape. So, but basically, you know, all your blood will come from your vena cava, which whether it's your superior or inferior vena cava, veins always bring blood to the heart, no matter what, and that'll be kind of a thing that you need to know later on after I go through this. But veins go to the heart, and arteries pump away. If you think arteries is, you know, has the letter A is away, so arteries pump away from the heart, and veins return. Okay, so it enters through the right atrium, and the way the heart really works is the atriums on both sides, right and left, pump, and then the ventricles pump. So it's like a pump, 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 pump. So you're pushing blood through. The first valve you're going to push through is called the tricuspid valve, and the reason why is because it's got 3 little pieces. This side is actually called the mitral valve, but it's actually also known as the bicuspid, which is 2. So it goes the right atrium through the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle. So atriums are always on top, ventricles are always on bottom. So a couple of things that you gotta try and remember. So once it goes through to the right ventricle, let me back up. So the vein brings, and this is where they're gonna try and when they give you the test, they're gonna try and trick you in saying veins, which blood or what type of blood does veins bring back to the heart, oxygenated or deoxygenated. So veins that are coming from the body to the heart is deoxygenated. Deoxygenated. Okay, so you're bringing blood that needs to go to the lungs, and that's where we get our oxygen. So deoxygenated blood comes through right atrium, through the tricuspid valve, and to the right ventricle, which is going to go through the pulmonary valve. And the way you can kind of remember is like, okay, well, how do you know which valve is going to be here? Is it's the pulmonary valve is going to the lungs, you know, the pulmonary system, lungs, and that goes into the pulmonary artery. Now this is where they're going to, every time, no matter what, even in the tests that I've taken, EMT and paramedic, they're going to try and find out what type of blood does the pulmonary artery have, oxygenated or deoxygenated. Well, it hasn't been through the lungs yet. So anything on this side is all deoxygenated blood on this side. Now it's gonna, once you go through the lungs, now you're gonna be oxygenated blood. So that's where they're gonna try and trick you, is because veins, like I said before, bring blood back to the heart. But it's oxygenated blood. So this side, this is a vein and this is also a vein, but this has oxygenated blood. And you gotta remember, because it goes through the lungs and then, you know, does the cellular respiration and metabolic respiration, all this good shit that we'll go over later. But anyways, this is the only artery that pumps away from the heart of deoxygenated blood, because once it gets through here, it'll be oxygenated blood. But anyways, so pulmonary valve into the pulmonary artery. A equals away from the body. Into the lungs, does its things, you know, gets rid of the carbon dioxide and receives oxygen. Now it's oxygenated blood, and it's going to go into the left atrium. Then it'll go through the mitral valve or bicuspid valve, so tri and bi, into the left ventricle. Then you're going to go through the aortic valve, which goes into the aorta. So if you're kind of trying to remember which of these valves, as long as you know where it's going to, then you know what kind of valve it is. So, like I said, this is going to the pulmonary system, the lungs, pulmonary valve. This is going to the aorta, so this is the aortic valve. And this is pumping oxygenated blood out of the heart. So, like I said, deoxygenated blood, right atrium, tricuspid, right ventricle, pulmonary valve, pulmonary artery away from the heart, but it's deoxygenated through the lungs. Get your O2, get rid of carbon dioxide. Now it's oxygenated blood through the pulmonary veins, which is returning to the heart, venturing back to the heart, if you will, and then into the left atrium through the mitral valve, aka the bicuspid valve, 2, into the left ventricle through the aortic valve, into the aorta. And then it goes up to the, you have the, or descending aorta and all this other shit, but basically towards the heart. So, yeah. If you have any other questions, let me know. Yes! We did it.